What's the weirdest compliment you've ever received? You smell like a rainbow just out of the dryer. Told to me by a second grade student several years ago. Kids say weird stuff. A middle school student once told me that I smelled like a good barber shop. Since it's cheap, I used to keep Brut in my car as my backup cologne. I'm not a morning person, so I sometimes forget cologne. That was the day I decided to swap out the Brut for cool water. Was told I have a beautiful brain while doing a paid MRI study. After handing back a police report I filled out describing the events of a man jumping off an overpass aiming for my car in a presumed suicide attempt. This is really good. Have you done this before? Told a workmate I was diagnosed with gout. Was moaning about it because it's a weird B. It's a genetic thing. I'm not eating lots rich food or anything stupid. And C. It hurts. His response, the genius disease. That's the disease all the great geniuses get. Makes sense you have it. As far as I know, there's no connection between genius and gout. Benjamin Franklin had it, but I don't think that means anything. But it was a great thing to hear when I was feeling low and self-pitying. Made me smile, confusedly, but smile, over something that was pure misery before that. I have now started telling anyone who tells me they have some condition, oh, the genius thing. All the great geniuses get that. Why not? Right. A coworker complimented me on a haircut once. She said your hair looks great. It makes it look like you shower. Weird compliment considering I get the same haircut once a month and I shower at least once a day. I have self-harm scars. I worked at McDonald's when I was 18 and a short, way older man came up to the counter. He said you self-harm. I said yeah. He literally then said, does it turn you on? I said no. Then he said well it turns me on. I then walked out of the restaurant and quit 2 days later lol. I have a perennial baby face and I'm a pretty quiet/shy individual, but have a deep voice. Someone in one of my classes held the door, so I said thanks. The girl holding the door did a double take and shouted wait, that's what you sound like. And honestly that'll stick with me for the rest of my life. I think that happened to me at the mall once. Said thank you to a Twiggy kid in a hoodie who held the door for me and he sounded deep like Morgan Freeman. Had me shook. It's hard to remember that old men with freakishly deep voices always start out as kids with freakishly deep voices. You have a cool left ear. All I could think was well what is wrong with the right one, lol. You are surprisingly nimble for a fat guy. I've been chubby for years, but when I was younger I was in gymnastics. Early high school I went to a friend's house for a little get together grill party thing. Some of the kids were dancing and tumbling and whatnot in the huge lawn they had. I proceeded to do a long A string of cartwheels as I could still do it even as chubby as I had gotten. My friends were stunned. It was great XD. I made a save the date video for my wife's 50th birthday which was a parody of the intro to an early 80s TV show. It came out pretty well, but a friend of ours that produces ads for TV seemed to focus on the voiceover. Wow, is that you doing the voiceover? I pay people for stuff like that. During the first lockdown the bakery I work in was one of the only shops in my town still open, so everyone was coming to us for their baked goods and rolls. The local funeral director was in one day, and when I caught him staring at me, he said just sizing you up for your measurements. We're expecting to be very busy very soon. Didn't really know what to say to that haha. You look like Gollum, but in a really cute way. I think it was a really bad attempt in flirting, and he wanted to flatter me, but I just ended up feeling self-conscious about my ears. Woman in the gym, older lady, definitely cougar material, came up and said, do you play sports? Your calves look amazing. It must take a lifetime to get them like that, and your butt at the best that I have ever seen on a man. Needless to say I was shocked. So shocked I froze up and didn't realize until after, when I saw her drive away in a pink BMW, that she was in fact probably hitting on me. As a man, these things tend to go right over our heads. I was at a board game convention in Texas and there was simultaneously a thin blue line ball for police at the hotel we were using. Late night, we are talking downstairs after the main rooms closed, and some cop comes up to me, stops, stares at me with his hazy, extremely drunk eyes, and loudly slurs, I like your beard. Man, I bet you get a lot of PY. I bet you get all the ladies. Now, I've been growing my beard for a very long time, so it's big, but I've never had this type of compliment before. Burly drunk cop man forces a fist bump and walks on. My friend slash fellow congoers are all stunned as he walked through them before seeing me. Then, he catches up with who I'll presume is his wife and friend down the hallway. His friend asks what on earth he just did, to which he replies, yelling down the hallway, "Look at that beard, man. If I had a beard like that I'd get all the. I'd leave my wife for that much. I'd probably get multiple at the same time." And some other drunk rambling, with all of the people around me already paying attention. Plus him yelling. I think I can definitely say that was the weirdest and kind of saddest compliment I've ever received. Someone in an online forum told me that I'd changed his mind about gay marriage because whenever I posted about my husband and kids it sounded just like his grandma talking. My parents were traveling through the backcountry, USA once when my brother and I were just toddlers. Some lady stopped them at a gas station to tell them, "Y'all sure do make pretty babies." Yeah, they peeled out of there pretty fast. As I darted across the street, some guy stuck his head out of a car window and shouted, "That's the nicest run I've ever seen." I still think about it sometimes. It was so random and caught me off guard. Someone once told me that I'm a great companion to sit at the table with. I clear the whole table so that no food goes to waste, and I listen very attentively to every story, and once in a while make comments that surprise people cause they just assume I'm too focused on the food to even listen. Another one is that I'm great as a background noise. I keep on talking and talking, and usually it's nothing important, so you don't have to really pay attention to it, but it's nice to hear something. "I really like your voice," followed by an email saying, "God, I'm sorry. That was just weird of me." It was supposed to be a compliment, to which I replied I took it as a compliment. It's all good. Honestly, one of the nicest yet weirdest compliments I ever received was from a friend of a friend. He was a quiet, unassuming guy, never paid any special attention to me. Apparently he told my friend Rose, "Yeah, she's cool. I'd let her sit on my face," and I just I had to take it as a compliment. I was told I have a very strange way of thinking. I can't just tell myself to do something. There has to be a logical reason behind it, and if I have that reason it's much easier for me to do a task. I almost have to trick my mind in order to get myself motivated, but once I realize this, it's become a lot easier. Note, this discovery came from my therapist, who said my mind is different than most, but fascinating and unique. Wow, did you get plastic surgery to get your chin like that while visiting South Korea? I did not. For the record, do people really get plastic surgery for their chins? One time I was at a club and this guy tried to say something to me, but it was too loud to hear. So I was all, "What did you say?" And he just responds, "I complimented you." Like, okay bro, thanks I guess. But what was the compliment, LMAO?